I'm JP Augustine, and this is my Jersey tour. So I grew up watching the Mighty Duck movies, and this jersey obviously takes its influence from it. I'm also a big fan of the 90s cartoon feel this logo has to it. So my childhood was in the mid-90s to early 2000s, and in that time, Teemu Selanne was in his prime. So the Ducks beat my hometown Ottawa Senators in the Stanley Cup Final in 2007. And you may think I have some bitterness towards this jersey, but they actually won wearing a different jersey. So no hard feelings with this one. Like the Ducks jersey, this Kachina Coyotes jersey brings back a lot of childhood nostalgia. I'm pumped they brought it back. I have no name on the back of this jersey, however I do have a Paul Bissonnette away jersey. Big Chicklets guy. I dressed as Biznasty for Halloween a couple years ago. Check it out.
Just trying to warm a bench, man.
The Bruins haven't really altered their logo over the years, so picking these jerseys were pretty simple. For the home jersey, I have Parise Bergeron. I think he's one of the great character players of the game, and he's got a great knack for scoring clutch goals. For the away jersey, I customized it to make it a Milt Smith jersey. My grandfather grew up in Kitchener, Ontario, the same hometown as Milt Smith, and he was his favorite player. My great-grandfather donated money so that Milt Smith could have skates as a kid. Of all the jerseys the Sabres have ever worn, this one is my favorite. The black and silver give it a very sharp look, and the Sabres had 3 deep playoff runs in this jersey's era. A big factor in 2 of those runs was their goaltending. Dominik Hasek was incredibly entertaining. Accolades aside, his unpredictable ability to make saves was always fun to watch. So I'm not proud of this, but it took me 25 years to realize that the Sabres' face is actually over here. I always thought that the mouth was here, and this was like the tongue sticking out. This was his nose, and it was kind of more of a side profile. I eventually figured out what they were going for. Even though the Flames won their one and only cup in a different jersey era, this Flames jersey is my favorite. It's just my aesthetic preference, but I do prefer the red jersey over the orange ones. Jarome Iginla was a complete player and really was the heart and soul of the Flames during his tenure in Calgary. My uncle lives in Calgary, so I was cheering for the Flames during their 2004 Cup final run. So up until a couple years ago, the Hurricane jersey concept more or less stayed the same. I chose an Eric Staal jersey because he was born and raised in Thunder Bay, Ontario, the same town my dad grew up in, and where I've spent a lot of summers and Christmases. I actually got Eric's autograph during his Stanley Cup parade in 2006. I also wrote a letter to the Hockey News that got published about how genuine Eric was with the fans during the parade. He's a nice guy. So a day after this jersey was delivered to my front door, Eric Staal was traded to the Rangers. Yeah. So time and time again, this red Blackhawks jersey is voted as one of the best in the NHL. It may just be because of the stimulating red or the diverse colors on the feathers, but either way I love this jersey. Obviously as an original 6 team they have a lot of history, but there's been no better time period for the Blackhawk organization than from 2010 to 2015. They won 3 cups in 6 seasons and were led by the current captain Jonathan Toews. From the stories I've heard, he's a great role model both on and off the ice. I also like number 19. The 2009-2010 Blackhawks were one of my favorite rosters ever assembled. There are certain moments you remember vividly. One of them was Ray Bourque finally getting to hoist the cup after a 22-year career. I was just genuinely happy for the guy. So on this jersey I have the 2001 Stanley Cup Final patch from that year. On the back I have number 19 for Joe Sakic, but I never got around to getting his name bar. I also have a Peter Forsberg jersey, and I think he and Joe Sakic were one of the most lethal duos to ever play. When I was 17 I played in the Greek Hockey League, because I'm half Greek, and we wore Avalanche jerseys that year. To me, the best Columbus Blue Jackets jersey is their inaugural one. I like how the CBJ isn't obvious at first sight. There's no one on the back of this jersey, but if I had to pick, I would choose Rick Nash or Jeff Sanderson. My favorite part about this jersey is the columbug they have on the shoulder patch. I'm not sure what the correlation is between the Civil War and a bug, but hey, it works. I have 2 Dallas Stars jerseys, each from different eras. When the Stars came out with the 2013 Victory Green jerseys, I was blown away at how vivid it looked. I always like the goal scorers on every team, and I chose Tyler Seguin because he's got one of the greatest shots in the game today. For the other Stars jersey, I chose Mike Modano as the name on the back because he was my first favorite player. I was pumped that the Stars won, but I think Hull's foot was actually in the crease. I said what I said. One of the most dominating teams in my childhood era were the Detroit Red Wings. Like the Blackhawks, they won 3 cups in a 6-year span. They were pretty loaded in that era with Shanahan, Fedorov, Lidstrom, and the names go on. But it was hard not to pick Stevie Y for this jersey. He was a fearless leader for the Wings for 22 years and captained them to 3 cups. I like seeing diversity with Stanley Cup winners, so when the Red Wings were winning all their cups all at once, I actually started to root against them. What I really like about this jersey is that if you look back at their Stanley Cup team photos from the 1980s, in each of their cup clinching games, they wore the white jersey. Okay, so the name on the back of this jersey doesn't need any explanation. There's a code I read about when buying jerseys, and that is you don't buy the jersey of a player who was younger than you. That's why I don't have McDavid. So this actually isn't my favorite Panthers jersey, but the one I wanted was kind of hard to get, so I really like the original Panthers jersey, the one they wore in the 96 Cup final run. Jaromir Jagr was in the latter part of his career when he played for the Panthers, but he was setting all sorts of records in that time, so I figured, hey, why not? Jagr actually only wore this jersey for just over a season. The Kings have had a rich and diverse history of jerseys, but their franchise success came in this unit's era. It's a fairly average jersey when you really consider the simple colors and the simplified logo, but you can make anything look good when you win 2 cups in 3 years. So growing up playing hockey, I played center, and one guy I started to really admire was Stoll. He never put up huge numbers, but he was a clutch face-off guy and loved to block shots. I started following Stoll's career when he was on the 2006 Oilers team that made it to the final. So in my mind, this logo was a huge winner. I love the way the forest scene blends into this anonymous animal, and the eye is the North Star. The creativity on this logo is awesome. I chose the Stadium Series jersey because I love how it has that vintage feels with the base shoulders. So in their 20-year history, Minnesota hasn't really had that grade A superstar, but Zach Parise is a local boy, and he's been one of their best players in their franchise. Skill aside, one of the reasons I like Zach Parise was that his dad's name was actually JP. He played 9 seasons for the North Stars in the 60s and 70s. This might be one of the most iconic logos in all of hockey. It's so iconic, you kind of forget that it's a C wrapped around an H. You don't think about it, it's just the Montreal Canadiens. I grew up reading The Sweater by Roch Cavalier and thought it'd be the coolest thing in the world if I had my own Rocket Richard sweater. This jersey actually took a long time to come in. Originally, they sent me a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, and I had to call up Edens and tell them that, you know, they gotta fix the order, and then I prayed that Million Moss would eat up the Leafs jersey. There hasn't been a team in the NHL that has had a bright yellow jersey as the Nashville Predators have. I'm not a huge fan of the color, but I kind of like the uniqueness of it. I always thought Shea Weber deserved more credit than he got when he played for Nashville. Probably should have won a couple Norrises in my opinion, but hey, I'm not the one voting. And be it hitting or shooting, the strength element of his game is out of this world. I purchased this jersey 1 year before Weber got dealt to the Canadiens. If you eliminate the Christmas jerseys the Devils wore in the 80s, you're essentially left with 2 options, both of which I have. Like the Red Wings, the Devils were another dominant team in my childhood era, winning 3 cups in a 9-year span. They were led by Scott Stevens, who, yeah, his hits would probably be dirty today, but at the time, he's one of the best defensemen around. For the red jersey, I chose Patrick Elias because I played a very similar style of game as him. Jason Arnott, who scored the cup-clinching goal in overtime in 2000, was one of my favorite players growing up. The Islanders have played around with their jerseys the last few years, but to me, their best jersey is from their dynasty days. I'm not really sure if blue and orange go well together, but again, if you win, anything looks good. I know he's hated on Long Island now, but John Tavares carried the franchise on his back for 10 years. Gotta respect that. I don't know if it's a fact, but I feel like I'm like one of the few people that actually like the Fisherman jersey from back in the 90s. One of the best Stanley Cup wins, if not the best, has to go to the Rangers in 1994. Game 7 dramatics, the guarantee, an end to a 54-year cup drought. That's a pretty good recipe for legendary status. So I chose this jersey specifically because there's the Stanley Cup final patch from 1994 which commemorates the New York Rangers win that year. I had to go with Moose, with Mark Messier, with the leadership skills he displayed in that cup run. I'm a late 93 birthday, so the first cup victory that I was alive for was the Rangers in 94. The Senators are my hometown and favorite team, so for me there's really no bad option here. My first Senators jersey was a red Martin Havlat jersey I got when I was about 7 or 8. He's my all-time favorite Senator. The other Senator I really liked was Antoine Vermette. I played on Parliament Hill in one of the Senators' alumni games. True story. The orange in the Flyers jersey is very iconic, so the choice was simple. But picking the player is actually an interesting story. I thought it was too cliche to pick a Bobby Clarke or an Eric Lindros. So I thought I'd do a little more research and find another player who really epitomized Flyers hockey. After digging around, I chose Gary Dorn Hoffer. He put up 518 points and 1,256 penalty minutes in 725 games with the Flyers. He was part of their only 2 Stanley Cups in franchise history. I had never heard of Gary Dornhofer until I was picking out a Flyers jersey. I not only like the color combination of black, white, and gold, but the cartoon logo is pretty cool too. It's like Pingu on skates. Like Gretzky, the name on the back doesn't need any explanation. I wouldn't consider this a fun fact for myself, but when Chris Kunitz buried that double overtime winner against the Ottawa Senators in the 2017 conference final, here we go, all the memories just coming back, just rushing back in. Well, that was one of the most painful memories of watching hockey. So I got 2 of the same jerseys for the Blues, each with sentimental value. The first one I have is a Pavel Dmitriy jersey. He was a great player for the Blues, putting up big numbers for 7 years. Unfortunately, he was part of the Yaroslavl plane crash that took the lives of the entire KHL team in 2011. Getting his jersey was a way of honoring him. The other jersey I have is a signed Saenko Jersey. This jersey was a gift arranged from close family friends in Thunder Bay who are very close to the Bortuzzo family. I interviewed Robert Bortuzzo's mother, Susan, about what it's like to be the mother of a Stanley Cup champion. A few years back, the Hockey News had a special edition in which they ranked the best jerseys of all time. San Jose's original jersey was voted #1. There's something about the teal and the combination with the other colors that just really works. I chose to get a Brent Burns jersey because of his on and off ice game. Hey, he's a cool guy. So a few years back, I actually purchased front row seats at a Sharks Sens game, and 4 months prior, I started growing out my hair and beard to look like Burns for that game. It was cool. I got the attention of a lot of Sharks players, including Burns, and yeah, it was just a fun experience. Again, the picking of this jersey is based off nostalgia and success. Even though I previously mentioned that I was cheering for the Flames during the 2004 Cup Final, I was still pretty pumped about the Lightning winning it, especially for Marty St. Louis. The same year that the Lightning won the Cup, he really established himself as a dominant player in the league. So not a lot of people know this, but Marty St. Louis actually attended an Ottawa Senators training camp in 1997. What could have been? Again, another iconic jersey, but I will say this, as far as fierce sports names go, I don't think Maple Leafs fits the mold. But that being said, I respect the long history of the Leafs and love the 2-color concept they've donned throughout the years. There were lots of options to choose from, but my dad grew up a Leafs fan and Dave Keon was his favorite player. When I was about 3 years old, I got a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey for Christmas. I know for a lot of people the Spaghetti Skate is their all-time favorite Canucks jersey, but for me, the original Orca is the best. The mauve, silver, black, and red are really a unique combination of colors that I find work well. For a name on the back, it was a toss-up between Pavel Bure and Marcus Naslund. When he was healthy, Pavel Bure could be the best player in the world. This version of the Canucks jersey was introduced in Bure's last season as a Canuck. I had 1 of 2 options here, and I really like the stealth look of the home jersey. The V in the Knights helmet is a nice creative touch, and I really hope this logo stays around for a long time. I purchased this jersey in the summer before the Knights entered the NHL, and the reason I chose James Neal was because I saw him at a Kings of Leon concert in the same summer. And he's a good player too. So this is more of a prediction than anything, but I'm calling it right now. This red that they have, this random stripe of red, I think at some point it's going to be the main color in the 3rd jersey. The Caps have gone with different looks over the years, but as the capital of the United States, the red, white, and blue fits them best. Yeah, you know exactly who I have on the back of this jersey. What a legend. So maybe I'm a little late to notice things, but if you look closely at the shoulder patch here, underneath the wings is the outline to Capitol Hill. So if you already knew that, I look like a giant idiot right now. And lastly, we have the Winnipeg Jets. I chose the modern look over the original just because this has a lot more energy to it, and you'd hope so after a 15-year hiatus. I don't think there's any player in the game who's as savage and as built as Dustin Byfuglien. I'm always amazed that a guy who's 6'5" and 260 pounds can move the way he does. The ironic part of this Byfuglien jersey is that it's the smallest one I have. So for anyone wondering, the official jersey count number was 76. Jersey sweater. But yeah, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the tour.